You know why now that people are questioning God's existence? You know, out of all the times, 70s, 80s, 50s, 60s, 80s, 90s, you know why it's in the 2000s? It's because I heard the story all along. From tragedy, from um, just in doubt, bunch of people doubt, you know, of the Lord existing, of God existing. And that's why they're like, and not only that, science has come so far now. Science has been everywhere now, more than ever, in your face, especially the biggest, mystery of the universe out of nothing. It's because I think somebody said it best. This 49-year-old guy said on YouTube, I could prove God doesn't exist and grow up. You guys gotta grow up, adults, kids, grow up. There's no sky daddy. See, people always have questions. I know I grew up, even in the 80s, I guess. I grew up. People's like, whether they were worried about something like, oh, I hope God does something about this. I hear it all the time. I hope God does something about this. Why didn't God do something about this? And look where we are now, 2000, and people are losing their faith and belief, and they're giving up. They're like, this is enough. If you're real, just show yourself. You can kill 2 million people, but you can't show yourself. And then people are like, religious people are like, well, if they show myself, then we wouldn't love him. Well, apparently you love him, but you still fear him, and you can't see him. So even if you saw him, you could still love him and fear him. Maybe, um, I guess you would fear him because it'd be like, even if he was like in a robe with glowing beard, you have the instinct of fear because of all the natural disasters you accumulate God with, or according to religious people, sin, um, all the tragedies in the world and everything. But so if this God it can kill 2 million people in the book and never shows up, um, and the God just wants you to just believe in a blind faith, well, either the time going to come when you die, when you're going to talk to him, says, well, sorry, your book was wrong. Your book had contradictions. Science explained things that were in the book that were wrong. What do you have to say for yourself? How could I believe in you if you deceive people? Not only that, in different religions, and you never showed up. Like I think Matt Dillahunty said it best. How was I to know you were real? I tried, and then Matt Dillahunty says, well, if he wants to send me hell, he can do that. I can't stop him. But and then a lot of people say, the non-believer says, if this God wants us to know that it exists, you know, why would we have doubts? Why would we be atheists? Why would we have divine knowledge and power if the book is contradictory? So, like even if it exists, I got the God beat because I'm gonna have so much questions for. I think Graydon Square said it best. I'm gonna have so much questions for his ass he can't answer. You know, and not only that, where did it come from? What created it? It just popped out of existence. It's going to be interesting to interview if it exists. But I know this magical fairy tale that everybody wants of heaven, it's just too good to be true, and it doesn't exist. Some people always say, well, what created this? What created that? What created that? Well, what happened if there's no creation needed? What happened if just things evolve? Say like if we find the first starting point. And if we found a first starting point of whatever happened, and this could evolve from trillion years or even more. See, it's like I said, it's an uncaused cause. In other words, no cause at all for something to occur baffles people because it's never really been witnessed or can think of on Earth. But sometimes things can happen, you know? We don't know the answer yet. But seriously, it can't be the God in the Bible because the Bible has contradictions. And it can't be a deist God because, well, where did he come from? And if that God and had another God and another God and another God, it's just infinite regression over and over and over. So what happened if it was something that was eternal? What happened if space and time got warped? You know? And no, you really have to stretch your brain. You really have to stretch your brain to really think about this, right? But seriously, there's no way that God and the religions can exist, full of contradictions, and doesn't make any sense. And even if it does exist, too many questions that God couldn't answer. Okay, so that eliminates that. The second thing, a deist God. But the problem with that is, where did that God come from? And if there's if it had if it can reproduce or whatever, I mean, it could have be another God and another God and another God, until we get to nowhere. So that eliminates that too. So the third thing is a cause without a cause, so, or maybe it is a cause with a cause that we just don't know yet. So let's review. 1. The gods of the religion, not possible. Too many contradictions. And the God doesn't make any sense. So none of the gods of the religion. Second thing, deist God. Still not good enough because infinite regression. Where did God come from? And the bottom line, like I said, there's even if the God exists from the Bible, it's still wrong. Even because even Aaron Ross says it's still wrong because we'll have so many questions for it, and it wouldn't be able to answer. And if it answers, it's going to answer falsely because we know. We know the Bible's false, and we know science has proven that. So like Aaron Ross says, even if the God of the Bible exists, it's still wrong. So it can't be that. The second option is the deist God, but it's still not good enough. So I guess it weighs like this: a God just that always existed, or gods that always existed just out of the blue, which seems kind of crazy, or something that had a starting point with no cause, or something that had a starting point that did have a cause, or something that just came to exist. Those three things. I know it's very hard to understand because we're still learning. We still have the universe out of nothing, but we still have a lot to learn about the universe and solar systems, and of course we'll learn more. See, there's an interesting thing we found about, and this is really strange, but apparently God can't reveal himself, even though he knows everywhere. He knows if you're on the toilet, he knows everywhere. Maybe God is dark energy, dark matter. But seriously, dark energy, dark matter is all around us. Scientists found, in our house. It's in our house. It's everywhere, but we can't see it. It's kind of crazy. So, yeah, just hang on, strap your seatbelt, strap tight, get ready for the most mind-blowing mystery about to be cracked and be blown away. So I guess it boils down to three things: a cause without a cause, with no God; a cause that had a cause, with no God; or no cause at all, with no God. These are the three possibilities I'm thinking. Um, but let's say it is a DS God. This would mean it's not any of the gods in the Bibles or religions. It's just a God that's nameless, just appeared out of the blue, just. But even if that DS God existed, that means there would be no heaven, no hell, no judgment, no sins, because it has nothing to do with the religion. It's just the God of everything. So that would just discredit the gods of the religion. So one, the gods of religion cannot be real, cannot be true. Too many contradictions and too many bullshit. Second, the DS God would destroy all the religions because it has nothing to do with just a God that always existed. But this would mean there'd be no heavens, no hells. It's just a God that always existed. Because the only way there could be heavens and hells is for the God of the religions. But if it's the DS God, it has nothing to do with religions. Or three, an uncaused cause that had no God needed, a cause that caused something with no God needed, or just a cause that happened. Very hard to understand. We can't explain it yet, but there's really nothing to fear. Just strap tight, get ready for the most mind-blowing time of our lives to really find out, bam, man, we found the fucking starting point. Holy shit. And it's just something, or something mind-blowing. Could be maybe what happened. It's hard to answer myself, but it's like trying to find all possible ways. But you know what I think? I think this answer cannot be answered yet. It's gonna have to be explained, or will be explained. Cannot be answered yet. You know? It's very interesting. Not only this, not only before the Big Bang, so not only at what caused or whatever the Big Bang, but even before the Big Bang, because remember, before the Big Bang, there were still multiverses and still stuff. I know it probably makes sense for people to say God. God did it. That's the super easy answer. And to them, if it makes them feel comfortable, yeah, we got a cause. This happened. It's a God. But at least the DS God. But the problem is That's harder. That's harder. Actually, if you say the DS God did it all, that's harder to to make sense of than of the other things without God. I know it's hard to understand. The reason why I say this, because if the DS God made everything, created all existence, this God was eternal. But what was the origin of that God? I mean, it's not God's religion, so could it? It would have to talk to us. Maybe, you know, but it's like an infinite regression of gods, and that's what even makes it more complex. The universe is so complex. This God is even more complex. So something, so that makes it harder to believe. It's easier to believe, even though this is still hard to believe, but it's easier to say than a deist God or gods. Either things happen for no reason, there was a cause without a cause, with no God, there was a cause with a cause. Those three things are still hard to understand and make sense of, but that makes more sense than just an eternal creator. But not an eternal creator of the religions, just a deist God, an eternal God of that. So that's why it won't be a God. That's going to be explained, obviously. It's going to be something else, something really, really freaky, and mind-blowing. I guess, okay, think about it this way. You know how cells divide? Cells divide themselves. It's not like somebody programmed something. They just divide themselves. Your body does food. Things do themselves. Things themselves do themselves. Things. Like I said, the cells they have mitosis, meiosis. They just do them themselves. There's no hand, God just doing things. It just does it itself, and that's what happened. Now, what caused that is, well, maybe I'm really trying to think outside of the box. It's very tough, but maybe let me think. And this is probably why the universe is infinite. Because to tell you the truth, I'm thinking it's past 1 billion years. It could be in 1 trillion. It could be even more. So it'll probably be very, very hard to find the first thing that caused everything, because it's just so much fucking out there. It's just like